The Amazonian Indians have a legend about a magical flower.
A single petal from the great tree could cure any illness and break any curse.
People have been trying to find this tree for ages, and the conquistador Don de Aguirre dreamed about it the most.
History will tell you his journey ended in failure, but legend tells more.
Rumors have it that the Indians found and cured Aguirre, but the conquistador went insane, exterminated the tribe, and stole the magical pass to the tree from them.
But the jungle defended, and Aguirre and his conquistadors were taken, cursed, never to leave sight of the river again, unable to leave or die. Or so the legend goes.
The location of Aguirre's disappearance is known to people.
And it is here that we will find the true source of the legend. A tree that possesses unparalleled healing powers.
Humanity can't yet imagine what will happen if the flower falls into the wrong hands. The McGregor siblings and Lily Houghton are the ones who worry about it the most. McGregor addresses the scientific community and requests access to classified archives,
including an ancient arrowhead recently recovered from the lost expedition of Dr. Albert Falls.
According to the legend, it is precisely this arrowhead that can point the way to the Tree of Life. But McGregor's speech doesn't impress the esteemed scientist, and he is denied. He has no idea to whom the scientists plan to hand over the arrowhead. Lily, who listened to the speech from the audience, decides to take action while McGregor stalls for time. Consulting the building plan, the girl secretly embarks on a quest to find the arrowhead. Lily must exercise extreme caution, as the events take place in England in the early 20th century, when women have yet to gain many rights. And what are your thoughts on feminism? Share your opinion in the comments.
Yes?
This area is for society members only.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Bold and resourceful Lily finds a way out of the situation. To attract less attention, she disguises herself in men's clothing and finds the right box with the arrowhead. Lily opens it and takes the coveted casket with the arrowhead. At that moment, they bring in German Prince Joachim, to whom the society decided to hand over the arrowhead, as he made a generous donation. But Joachim is unsuccessful.
Someone got to it before me.
They shouldn't have. I'm sure it's all there.
Joachim notices Lily, who is trying to escape. They immediately start chasing the girl, but she skillfully maneuvers through the stairs and ends up outside the building. Although Lily gets stuck at a dangerous height, she doesn't let go of the box with the arrowhead. Soon, she manages to jump onto a double-decker bus, miraculously stopped by McGregor. He also boards the bus, and the siblings drive away. Prince Joachim is left with only a bird dummy, which infuriates him very much. The cruel prince takes revenge on the scientists and is determined to obtain the arrowhead at any cost.
You keep that money, and you tell me who is that woman.
Lily still doesn't realize the danger hanging over her. She hangs the arrowhead around her neck and plans to go to the Amazon. Lily is a scientist who wants to obtain the magical flower to invent a vaccine for curing diseases. The adventure in the jungle is not to McGregor's liking, but he loves his sister and agrees to go with her. And do you like extreme adventures? Meanwhile, along the Amazon River, a sturdy guy named Frank takes tourists on his dilapidated yacht.
Where were we?
About to die.
He constantly plays pranks on the passengers and tells outdated jokes. That's how he tries to amaze the tourists and get more money from them. The guy has no idea that his life is about to change completely. Frank's yacht heads to the same port where Lily and McGregor arrive. Lily is wearing pants, which catches the attention of a rough-looking man.
Told you not to wear trousers, drawing unnecessary attention.
I don't care in the slightest.
Someone advised Lily to find Mr. Nilo in the port, who can become their skipper in the journey to the Tree of Life. Meanwhile, Mr. Nilo harasses the dock Frank. The guy owes him money, so Nilo takes all of Frank's earnings and locks the motor of his boat in a metal box. Frank manages to secretly follow where Nilo hides the key to the box in his office. When the boss leaves, Frank sneaks into his office through the window. At the same moment, Lily approaches Nilo's office from the door.
Mr. Nilo, hello?
Frank owes me money.
Lily mistakes Frank for Nilo and tells him about her journey. Upon hearing that the girl has money, Frank willingly pretends to be Nilo. However, he is not enthusiastic about searching for the Tree of Life. Frank hints that Lily is too fragile and ill-equipped to survive in the dangerous jungle, but Lily effortlessly opens Nilo's safe, where the key to Frank's boat motor is kept. This impresses Frank, and now he is ready to help Lily. They continue their discussion over dinner when suddenly McGregor brings the real Mr. Nilo, Lily immediately bids farewell to the imposter Frank. Suddenly, Frank notices the Indian arrowhead around her neck. This artifact means a lot to Frank, so he immediately starts trying to get Lily on his side.
Why should I trust you?
I'm the only one that could get you there.
Suddenly, a jaguar bursts into the bar. Fearlessly, Frank takes the hit and drives away the dangerous predator with his bare hands. Everyone in the bar is in awe of him, and Lily agrees once again to sail with him. Frank secretly retrieves his motor and installs it in the boat. In the hold, the same jaguar approaches him, revealing that it is Frank's domestic pet named Proxima. She stormed into the bar just to allow Frank to demonstrate his heroism and impress Lily. The siblings load their belongings onto Frank's boat. It turns out that the fashion-conscious McGregor will need numerous suitcases of cosmetics and other trinkets for the journey. While Frank argues with McGregor about the luggage, Lily fights for the freedom of the toucans on the shore. Eventually, the thugs lock her up in a cage with the birds. Unbeknownst to her, the kidnapping was organized by Prince Joachim. However, with the help of a hairpin, Lily manages to unlock the cage and start a fight with the kidnappers. Frank notices that the girl has gone missing and comes to her aid.
Frank, follow me.
Don't go up there!
Friends deal with the bandits, and Lily frees all the animals from the cages. Now they need to make their way to the boat. Suddenly, it turns out that Lily doesn't know how to swim, but she still finds a way to reach the boat.
Why didn't you jump in the water?
I don't want to talk about it.
She can't swim.
You booked a river cruise and you can't swim?
The journey continues, but the friends have no idea that their main rival, Prince Joachim, is too close. Specifically, in a submarine near the same port, his vessel resurfaces and starts firing at Frank's boat. Due to this, the motor malfunctions, but Frank finds a way to save his boat. The friends manage to escape even from Joachim's torpedo. And then the submarine clings to a hook and runs aground. The friends continue their journey calmly, unaware that the worst is yet to come. Frank develops tender feelings for Lily, even though she constantly argues with him and wants to chart the course herself. Lily chooses the short and dangerous route with rapids and completely disregards the experienced skipper's advice. In the evening, Lily tells Frank about the true purpose of her journey. The girl dreams of obtaining the magical flower to save humanity from diseases, but Frank doesn't share her enthusiasm.
So you'd rather risk your life and your brother's life to save people you don't even know?
Well, I don't have to know someone to care.
Frank believes that it's better to care about just one person and see a whole world in them. These words make Lily feel sympathetic towards him. Their romantic conversation is interrupted by McGregor, who is being chased by Proxima the jaguar from the hold. Frank has to admit that the spectacle with the jaguar in the bar was staged. Meanwhile, Prince Joachim arrives at the cave where Conquistador Aguirre and his helpers are languishing in eternal captivity. The prince drips river water on the petrified prisoners, reviving them partially. Joachim asks the conquistadors to find the arrowhead that will lead them to the Tree of Life. Its flowers can both enrich the prince and lift the curse from Aguirre and his people.
Will find it for me, and we both get what we want. Deal?
After that, the prince blows up the walls of the cave with the prisoners, and the river water starts flooding in. It enables the mutated conquistadors to move, and they are aided by bees and snakes. Meanwhile, Lily's team is unaware of the impending danger. They have other problems. Their boat approaches the rapids that Frank warned them about. Lily even asked her brother to hide the arrowhead deep in the hold to prevent losing it during the rough ride. Frank turns out to be not as simple as he seemed and asks Proxima to steal the arrowhead for him. What is Frank planning? The boat navigates the first rapids.
You okay, lady?
I'm fine.
You want to turn back, Vance?
No, just getting started.
The strong shaking carries the boat to the top of a waterfall. At the last moment, Frank manages to turn the vessel around and guide it into calmer waters. Then the guys go ashore to gather firewood and discuss Lily's uncontrollable nature. But McGregor explains that his sister is his best friend because she's the only one in the family tolerant of his homosexuality. Meanwhile, Lily sneaks into the boat's hold and makes her way into Frank's cabin, even though he strictly forbade her from going there. Inside, she finds drawings of the arrowhead and numerous ancient maps. Upon returning to the boat, Frank assures Lily that he once searched for the Tree of Life, but is no longer interested. Lily finds it hard to believe him. At that moment, someone shoots poison darts at McGregor.
Lily?
Both Lily and Frank are also wounded by the indigenous darts and lose consciousness. The friends regain consciousness, bound in boats. The indigenous people bring them to the tribe's leader. Frank tries to negotiate the release of the Englishmen on the condition that they leave the arrowhead behind. However, Lily strongly disagrees. She cuts the rope from her hands and attempts to attack the indigenous people with a spear, but they only remove their masks and laugh. It turns out that Frank asked the indigenous people to play along in order to take the arrowhead. Enraged, Lily slaps him and befriends the indigenous people. The chief translates the symbols on the arrowhead for her. It turns out that the flowers will bloom on the tree in 2 days. Suddenly, the mutated conquistadors approach the indigenous camp. They launch an attack with the help of snakes and bees.
What's going on?
That's what I was trying to tell you.
During the battle, many of the indigenous people did not survive. However, Ludley's team continues to fight and attempt to escape. Suddenly, Aguirre grabs Lily and takes the arrowhead from her. Frank engages in a fight with the villain, sustains a fatal wound, and falls from a great height, but he manages to take the arrowhead and passes it to Lily. During the escape attempt, McGregor breaks his leg. Now Lily is left alone, and she needs to take the arrowhead away from the river because the mutant conquistadors cannot leave the water. The conquistadors temporarily retreat and decide to use bees to communicate the location of the indigenous tribe to Joachim. In the morning, Lily wanders through the jungle and accidentally finds Frank, who survived. Lily is overjoyed and rushes into his arms. However, Frank could not have survived, as his chest was impaled by the spear. Frank reveals that he is immortal.
I'm roughly 400 years old.
What?
Shocked, McGregor and Lily listen as Frank promises to tell them everything if they remove the spear. Lily manages to do it somehow. She has to leave her injured brother and continue the journey alone with Frank. In the boat, Frank explains that several centuries ago, Aguirre was like a brother to him. But one day, Aguirre's beloved daughter fell ill, and he, along with his friends, went in search of the Tree of Life. Frank was the cartographer who drew all those maps. The conquistadors failed to find the Tree of Life, and surviving in the jungle was challenging. Eventually, the 6 searchers were found by the indigenous people, who healed them with magical flowers. But Aguirre became impatient. He killed almost the entire tribe and took the arrowhead. Frank immediately stood up to defend the indigenous people. The severely wounded chief protected the path to the Tree of Life and cursed the conquistadors, preventing them from leaving the river.
Aguirre hated me for betraying him. He found me over the years, and we fought.
However, it was futile because the conquistadors became immortal due to the curse. So Frank imprisoned his former friends in a cave to prevent them from returning to the river, and they withered away. Frank himself could not leave the river, so he built a city and started taking people on tours through the jungle, but he still couldn't find the Tree of Life. Only now does he have a chance to find it and rid himself of the curse. After that, Frank wants to end his long life. Lily is deeply hurt to hear this because she has fallen in love with him. At the same time, Joachim finds McGregor and, threatening to exterminate the indigenous people, forces him to reveal the location of the Tree of Life. McGregor has no choice but to tell him. In the morning, Lily and Frank arrive near the waterfall where the Tree of Life is located. Frank dives underwater and finds a lever in a stone cage, but Frank is too big to fit into the cage, so Lily will have to do it, even though she is afraid of water.
Listen, Frank, please!
I can't do this without you.
Thanks to Frank's comforting words, Lily is ready to overcome her fear. The friends arrive at the cage. Lily climbs inside and tries to move the lever, but she quickly runs out of air. Frank then shares his breath with her through a kiss-like gesture. Eventually, Lily manages to move the lever, causing the mechanism to block the waterfall. However, Frank is unable to pass another breath to Lily, causing her to start drowning. When the water recedes, Frank retrieves Lily from the cage and revives her. As the water recedes, the friends see numerous stone structures within the rock, where the Tree of Life is clearly located. Lily rejoices, believing that Frank's curse will soon be lifted, and they can go to London together. However, Frank still decides to bid farewell to life.
I'm ready. It's my time. It was my time long ago.
Lily is almost in tears because Frank has become her whole world. This deeply touches him. Suddenly, Joachim's submarine arrives at the same location. Soldiers capture the group and take the arrowhead, obtaining the magical flower. Joachim has no intention of healing people. Instead, he wants to help Germany win the war and rule for centuries. Frank feels a renewed desire to live in order to stop the villain. The people swim inside the rock and see the withered Tree of Life. Joachim demands that Lily make it bloom. Frank promises to accompany her if Joachim gives him one petal. The prince agrees to the deal. Lily and Frank approach a wall with hieroglyphics and try to figure out where to insert the arrowhead. It turns out they need to break it and retrieve a small stone from inside, symbolizing the heart. When Lily arranges the stones correctly, the tree comes to life. Under the moonlight streaming through a small opening, the tree starts blooming. Suddenly, Lily grabs a pistol and shoots Frank, causing him to fall from a great height.
I'll take that petal now.
Unaware that it's a bluff, Joachim doesn't realize that Frank is still immortal. The surviving Frank approaches the German soldiers from behind and starts taking them down. McGregor and Proxima also join the fight. While Joachim is distracted, Lily escapes from him and climbs onto the tree. The flowers on it are already wilting as the moon sets. Lily manages to snatch the last flower, but she slips from a rotten branch. Joachim quickly approaches her, demanding the flower. Deceptively, Lily eludes the prince and throws the flower into the air. Miraculously, Frank catches it below. Suddenly, the mutant conquistadors rush towards the Tree of Life. They attack Joachim and intend to harm Lily, but Frank distracts them from Lily by luring them with the magical flower. Frank disembarks from his boat along with McGregor, leaving him a message for Lily.
Tell Lily she would have been world enough for me.
Where are you going?
Frank steers the boat full speed to head towards the rock to block the river, so the conquistadors dry up again. The mutants attack Frank and try to snatch the flower from him. Meanwhile, Joachim descends from the tree and wants to harm Lily and her brother. McGregor feels the surge of strength, and with a precise strike forces Joachim to retreat towards the cliff. A massive boulder falls on the wicked prince from above, ending his life. Then McGregor hands Lily the last flower from Frank. The guy decided to help Lily save humanity without thinking about himself. Frank's boat crashes into the rock and blocks the river. The perennial lioness immediately bind the cursed conquistadors, trying to bring them back to the river, but the rock prevents them from doing so, and the whole team, including Frank, withers away. Lily rushes to her beloved and puts the magic flower in his mouth, but nothing happens. Frank remains chained to the rock. Disappointed, the siblings walk away, but suddenly, life magically awakens in Frank. Lily runs to him and throws herself into his arms. The happy lovers kiss, while McGregor and Proxima embrace them. Suddenly, moonlight enters through a crevice, and another flower blooms on the tree. The team returns to the city to go further, because now Frank can leave the river. McGregor returns to London and speaks before the Association of Scientists. They obtain the flower and no longer want to be members of the community.
Gentlemen, you can take your invitation, and you can shove it up your association.
Meanwhile, in London, Lally teaches Frank how to drive a car. Proxima rides with them and scares passersby. And who would you save in such a situation? Your beloved or the rest of the world? We really want to know what you guys think. So leave your thoughts in the comments, and we will feature the best one in the next video. And here is the best from the previous one. See you soon.